Hi, you're watching Your Home Houston. My name is Todd Frederking.
And I'm Chris Kelso. And all this time, y'all been listening to us on CBS Radio. One of the things that everyone always said was, what can we do to see you? We want to physically see you.
That kind of wackiness.
Absolutely.
Wanted to see it.
See what goes on the show, and more importantly, see who our guests are. So one of the things we want to do today is we're bringing you a new YouTube channel with Your Home Houston that will actually show you who we are, what we do, and more importantly, let you know a little bit about the fun that we want to bring to the camera.
We're going to continue to focus on all things business, real estate, and lifestyle in the nation's fourth largest city, Houston, Texas.
And you know, one of the things, we are living actually in one of the best cities in the world, and economically speaking, it is the #1 real estate market in the nation. But before we start that, let me let you know a little bit about me. I am Chris Kelso with Willow Mortgage. We are a national mortgage company, and more importantly, I've been in the business for 9 years. My goal is to bring you the information you need to be successful not only in business, but in lifestyle, real estate, and finance.
My name is Todd Frederking. I'm entering my 11th year in home building, and my family has been resident in residential real estate in Houston for over 30 years. And what we'll be doing as we move forward on our YouTube channel is reaching out into the community to find folks that can come and share with you insight about what does make the business community tick in Houston, what is there to do in terms of lifestyle in Houston, Texas, and what's near and dear to both our hearts and, quite frankly, our checkbooks is real estate. And why is it a good time to purchase a home in Houston, Texas, and more importantly, to break some of the myths that we hear on the national media about the real estate market and talk about how healthy the Houston real estate market is compared to the national trend. Here today to talk with us a little bit about that is international real estate specialist Christi Borden from Prudential Greene, and also you sit on the board of directors for Houston Association of Realtors.
That I do.
Christi, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, one of the things, as I mentioned, that we like to talk about is how does Houston compare to the national trend? What can you share with us about the health of the Houston real estate market?
For those who read the national media, you may not realize that you're sitting in the perfect place for buying and selling a home. Now, there are places in the United States that are a little bit less expensive because they're still in a downturn and they're trying to come up. But Houston, thankfully, dipped our toe in the recession first, and we're the first out. So we are such a healthy market compared to the U.S. Are we where we were in 2007? Not quite, but we're getting there real quickly. And of course, Houston's so big, you have to also drill down to where you live in the city. So it's really hard to speak to Houston as a whole because real estate is local, and that could be as down to your very neighborhood.
And you know, we talked about it where it's 2007. Unfortunately, that's what the height of the bubble. So if you do take out, in fact, one of the things we talk about a lot is if you take out 2006 and 2007 and you go back to the curve, the natural curve associated with real estate, Houston's right on track where we need to be right now.
We absolutely are. We had 2007 was a supply and demand issue where there were a lot of buyers with a lot of money and very few properties to purchase. So of course, it drove prices up a little bit unnaturally. And so we're down where we should be. We're in a perfect place.
Well, and Houston Association of Realtors tracks numbers year over year, and the tendency is to look at numbers year over year. But for us right now in the United States, that's a challenge because for the first 6 months of the previous year, we were in a skewed market with the tax credit. Can you share with us a little bit about how that year over year number works and what should we really be looking at?
Well, if we look at what happened last April 30th when the deadline for the tax credit, everybody was scrambling to get into contracts. So sellers were scrambling to get on the market. And so you had an unnatural rise in not only listings but pendings.
Right.
And then you had everything closed. So it kind of was, the rest of the year was just kind of relaxing from that unnatural height.
Right.
And so if we're comparing to that peak, it's unnatural. We have to go back to 2009, which was a solid year without any issues. Without
no hurricane.
No hurricane in 2008. And so I think next year's numbers will actually be a lot more clear because then we can compare to this year, which is a natural year. But unfortunately, sometimes the national media doesn't know how to read it.
So what we're looking at right now very well could be the new normal, as I like to call it.
Absolutely, it is the new normal.
Right. And you know, and there's a lot of good numbers out there. In fact, the average median sales price, as we talk about this, has actually gone up.
Yes,
the average sales price has actually gone up. And sales volume has actually maintained itself year over year.
Yes, it has. And inventory is lower right now, which we thank the builders who actually restrain themselves from overbuilding because that does hurt pricing when there's an oversupply.
Well, and we've seen some competitors disappear from the market, and in some cases, some healthy, friendly competitors, which was not always a good thing to see. We've also seen for the last several months in Houston a extremely strong lease market for single-family homes. What do you attribute that to, and what does that mean ultimately for real estate sales?
Well, we've seen three factors play into it. One of them is relocation companies sending in even upper-level management of folks that certainly can afford to purchase, but they're leasing because they're told to by their employer.
Right.
It keeps the employer from having to purchase the home quickly on another relocation move. Another reason is because people coming in can't sell their home, whether it's Chicago, California, Florida, and they're struggling to sell their home in a market that is not near as healthy as ours.
Right.
So they're forced into leasing because they just can't purchase. And then the third is people who are ready and want to buy, and in past years could have bought because it was very loose lending restrictions. Now it's much stricter, and they're struggling to purchase, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So there's folks that really want to buy but have found that it's difficult this right now.
And that's one of the reasons why we tell everybody you need to get engaged early and often with a realtor and with a real estate professional who has a good lender associated with them, because obviously if you can't buy today, that doesn't mean you might not be able to get a home 6, 8, 9, 12 months from now. So understand what's required and understand why you need to be engaged in the different aspects of real estate right now, because it can really be beneficial in the future for you.
Absolutely. And the plus side of the increase of leases is that as occupancy in those leasing apartments and high rises go down, prices will go up.
Right.
And eventually it will price people back into being buyers, which is wonderful for the market as a whole.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have to wrap up this segment right here. We want to hear from you, so always go to our website at www.yourhomehouston.com. I am Chris Kelso.
And my name is Todd Frederking, and thank you for watching Your Home Houston.